So tell me about your theory of parenting. You've spoken about, your relationship, I guess, with your in-laws, and obviously you've mentioned your daughter, although she has a private personality. I don't want to talk anything personal, but how do you view being a father and the relationship you have with Pia, and do you have a philosophy, or is it every day like your daily life sounds like is a new beginning?
An interesting question. So, are you a Tom Lehrer fan?
Yeah.
When you're exposed to Tom Lehrer as a child, all of the naughtiness of the world is brought to your feet and laid there. And I guess what I felt was that my grandfather was part of this, where he showed me that the world wasn't the way it was claimed to be. And maybe it's an intrinsically very Jewish thing to constantly question the frame. Most people get questions inside of a frame and they answer the question to the best of their ability. And Jews tend to question the frame. They spot the argument. What is my philosophy? That you should let your kid drive well before the age of 16. That you should make sure that your children know what alcohol tastes like in trace amounts to rob it of its mystery and appeal.
What about drugs?
What?
What about drugs?
It is a drug.
What about hard Schedule 1 drugs? How do you obviously don't want them to dabble in it, or psychedelics like Sam Harris?
Somebody else could decide that was a good. I mean, I have a friend who's very well known, who I think was given trace amounts of Schedule 1 substances. You could make an argument that Schedule 1 substances are safer in a certain physiological sense. I personally do not favor getting inebriated on drugs, at least until your brain is pretty well developed.
Mm-hmm.
So I very much worry. The purpose of getting a trace amount of alcohol is to say, oh, that's what scotch tastes like. It's no longer something I need to sneak to know.
Mm-hmm.
So the point isn't that you should get drunk when you're a kid or you should get high when you're a kid. The point is you should try to prevent your children from becoming alcoholics. And in essence, another piece of my philosophy, I guess, is don't push your children, because any person can turn their child into a prodigy. There's an emergency program in the mind of a child that says if your parents die, grow up super fast. And it's like a backup parachute if your first parachute fails. So don't push your children, but put everything in front of them in case they're ready for something super early. I had a situation with my son where my son was, without question, the worst musician of all time, bar none. Could not do anything. He was musically hopeless. And then right before he turned 13, in 6 weeks, he taught himself 4 instruments while he was procrastinating for his Torah portion. And that told me a lot, that even though I had been dutifully putting it in front of him and taking it away, putting it in front of him, taking it away, the brain wasn't ready. So don't get into a thing where somebody else's kid is, one of my kids walked and talked pretty young and the other one didn't. Get involved in competition about your child's brain is developing according to its own path, and neither your child nor you will understand it well enough. Do not become your child's best friend ever.
Yep. They'll have plenty of best friends, right?
You are something far more important than a best friend. A best friend would be a demotion if you're a parent. So leave that spot open in your child's life. And teach your children to break the rules and teach them how to take responsibility for the breaking of the rules. When you break the rules, it's not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So you should teach them, like, if you're going to break the rules, you bought it. You broke it, you bought it. And you have ownership. And you better put more in the till by the end of the day than you took out. And you have to think about, can I afford to take this money out of the till? And am I public spirited? And what if something goes wrong? high agency. You know, there was just this kid who apparently took the family sedan from Utah to California. He was 5 years old and was pulled over on the interstate because his parents forbid him from buying a Lamborghini with the lunch money he had. And, you know, this 5-year-old kid is driving to California successfully in the family car. And I just thought, I hope that kid listens to the portal.